Coming at you this Monday night of August 24th, 2015. You are checking out an all new The RCWR Show live exclusively here on YouTube, reviewing WWE Raw Fallout for this week. Look, I know for a lot of you guys that have been riding with us on the podcast and you've been checking out the live streams of the RCWR Show Monday nights, you know we had went on hiatus. I don't want you guys getting used to this. I am still not doing the Monday night shows on YouTube on a consistent basis, but I thought with what all went down tonight with Monday's Raw, I just felt so compelled. This is spontaneous. I didn't do any advertising. I put the link out just a few seconds ago. Don't get used to it. It's very rare we're going to be doing this. I just want to set this up properly before I just dive into what was, without a doubt, one of the most monumental, fun, just all around really enjoyable episodes of Raw, I dare say, for this calendar year alone. You know, one of the main reasons why I had stopped doing Monday nights was because I just got to a point where I was very burned out. And I didn't like the fact that the quality of the shows that we were getting on Mondays, not to mention a 3-hour show at that, which left me and I know many of you all very disappointed in a situation where you're kind of like, man, I wish I could get those 3 hours back. I wish I was watching this instead of this. You know how the whole spiel is. You know, that combined with personal stuff going on in my life, I just say, you know what, these Monday nights, forget about it. I am done. Still check out the show whenever I'm free, at least until, I don't know, basketball or football season starts or whatever. But I still tweet right along with you guys. So those of you that's like, hey, miss your Monday nights covering Raw. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm usually tweeting with folks about Monday's Raw. But this episode, I'm still high off of what went down over the weekend with regards to the NXT Brooklyn special. SummerSlam wasn't really all that good, but definitely with what we got with tonight's WWE Raw, this felt better than the SummerSlam event almost. I mean, seriously, let's dive right into it, man. And of course, for all the very latest and what you might have missed from tonight's Monday Night Raw, I would encourage the heck out of you guys. Go check out WWE Fan Nation right here on YouTube. They'll probably have video highlights of what all you missed. If you still can't find what you're looking for on there, hit up WWE.com for exclusive videos, photos, the works. All right, let's dive right into it. I want to rewind it back to what went down at SummerSlam with that main event match between Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, the screwball finish, because to kick off Raw would be the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, with his advocate, Sir Paul Heyman. I got to say, sir, I think this guy needs to be knighted already. My God, pissed off Brock Lesnar. He was looking to fight The Undertaker right there on the spot. Paul Heyman speaking on behalf of Lesnar, saying, hey, look, when it's all said and done, Lesnar was not upset at the timekeeper. As far as Lesnar was concerned, the timekeeper was just trying to do whatever was possible to save The Undertaker because he felt compassion towards The Undertaker. He realized that unless the match was stopped, Brock Lesnar was probably going to rip the arm off of The Undertaker, so he had to just do what he could to stop the match, even though it wasn't in his right position to do so. Lesnar was not upset at the referee because when it was all said and done, the referee did not see on the other side that The Undertaker was tapping out. No, instead, Lesnar was actually mad at The Undertaker for just going deep down and doing the dirty tactics that he did with the low blow and then doing the Hell's Gate and all that, but would bring up the fact that Brock Lesnar, a defiant Brock Lesnar, did not tap out to The Undertaker. And as far as Lesnar is concerned, Brock Lesnar won that match. not Undertaker. So it's like whatever. But Lesnar was ready to throw it down right there on the spot. He wanted to face the Undertaker. Now, if you've been checking out your wrestling news feeds all throughout the course of today, you would realize that earlier today, Undertaker did get on a plane back to his home in Texas. Somebody that had ran into him, a big Undertaker fan, big wrestling fan, ended up taking a photo or two with the Phenom and posted it on his Instagram account. So definitely no Undertaker was here at tonight's Raw. Very unfortunate. But we got the next best thing. We had saw Bo Dallas come out. I'm sure many of you are like, what? And you're chuckling at the same time, and you probably realize exactly where this is going. Yes, it went there. If you've been keeping track of Bo Dallas comes down to the ring. And I just love the exchange between him and Lesnar. He basically says to Brock Lesnar, hey, good news, bad news. The bad news is that you didn't beat The Undertaker because you were knocked out cold. And I forgot the rest he said, but basically it was just kind of clever the way he came at Lesnar. And basically he said to him, hey, look, if you want to beat Undertaker, all you got to do is Bo leave. And Brock Lesnar he went like SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. If you remember that game, you remember how the video motion capture of Lesnar would like go like this with his shoulders, and then he would just do that clothesline. I think they took it out of the later games, but I know for like at least 6 games after Here Comes the Pain, you could always see that little signature move before Lesnar would do the clothesline. Well, that's pretty much what Lesnar did to Bo Dallas. And then he gave him suplex after suplex after suplex after suplex after suplex. At least 5 times he hit Bo Dallas with suplexes before finishing up with an F5. Thunderous statement right there. That would be it for Brock Lesnar for the rest of the night. I know right before we went off the air for our SummerSlam post show, which, by the way, I want to thank the many of you that had joined us for that. I'm going to reveal the final numbers for the post show on our Tuesday night podcast. So stick around. I'll give you details and let you know what all we're going to be talking about on there in just a little bit. But just to kind of follow up briefly, I mean, it was just so freaking like crazy right before we went off the air, because I didn't see it until right after we were done with the post show. People were like, Lee, getting notifications about The Undertaker. The Undertaker was stumbling on his way backstage. It seems like this fight he did with Lesnar, it really took a toll on him physically or whatever. And honestly, when I heard that, first thing I said to myself, I said, well, honestly, the two guys, they really weren't supposed to be on tonight's Raw. But then again, the card is always subject to change. But once I heard that, and I heard that, like, again, soon as we went off the air Sunday night going into Monday morning, I said, there's no way Undertaker is going to make any type of an appearance. Forget about it. But just the fact that we had Lesnar, I'm just happy that one of the guys was there less than 24 hours after SummerSlam. And I think many of you all can definitely be in agreement with me. No matter which one it was, it's good that we had one of those guys. But seems like whether some of you may like it or not, there is going to be a third encounter between these two guys. I guess it's going to be a winner-take-all situation. Who knows? But let's continue on. And let's talk about some of the other action that came about on tonight's WWE Raw. I know some of you guys like for it to kind of go in a particular order, so we're going to try to stick to that. But forgive me in advance if I jump around just a little bit, if it sets up a really good transition. We had got our first match of the night, which was the Lucha Dragons taking on the New Day. New Day continuing that great momentum that they had and becoming the new tag team champions at SummerSlam. I love Xavier Woods. He was doing a little Miles Davis, John Coltrane, man. He was playing the trombone, coming out to start spreading the news, but they twisted it in a way where they were able to put the New Day chants in there and all that. Great stuff. Great tag team match that it was right there. Lucha Dragons, man, that Callisto dude. Am I the only one that's like, can we get this guy separated from Sin Cara 2.0? I mean, that's not even the real Sin Cara anyway. That's why I'm calling him Sin Cara 2.0. But can we like get him away from Callisto already? Because Callisto is like, and I know many of y'all have been saying it, and I don't mean to like sound so cliche, but this young kid Callisto, he has such a bright future ahead of him. He is like the new Rey Mysterio. I would dare say I think he's just a little bit better than Rey Mysterio, to the point I just, if I were to do like a dream matchup, I'm curious, like if we were to take the Rey Mysterio a little bit prior to coming to WCW or right around WCW, like what would happen if we took that young Rey Mysterio and had him take on Callisto? Just like who would win? It would be just so like poof, just mind-boggling just to see that epic encounter go down. This young man has a really bright future ahead of him. I think he's so more deserving than being in a tag team. You know, I think he needs to be a solo guy, and here's my fingers crossed, hoping that some type of a brand expansion happens down the road, because I would love to see him climb up the ranks when the blue brand maybe become the champion for that company or whatnot. I know I'm reaching big, but I smell money with this guy. That's the point that I'm making. But the team of New Day would defeat Lucha Dragons. A little tongue twister right here. Spontaneous right here. I don't have any show notes. I'm like literally kind of like, I got a couple of notes, but I'm like spontaneous over here tonight because I was not going to do this show for you guys. Probably one of two biggest moments of the night came right after the conclusion of the New Day taking on the Lucha Dragons, as New Day continued to celebrate, rubbing it in the face of the primetime players who were at commentating. And, you know, they kind of like, hey, well, you know, we got our tag team match. We're going to execute it whenever we feel it's convenient to do so. Yada, yada, yada. Next thing you know, you hear the music. And if you are a longtime WWE fan, longtime ECW fan, the music that you heard for the two individuals that came out to get in the face of New Day, own those guys physically, put them through a table. That's your hint right there. Ladies and gentlemen, it was the return for like the first time in over 10 years in a WWE ring together. Let's stress that. Together. We saw Bubba Ray, Dudley, Devon, Dudley, the Dudley Boyz make like out of nowhere a really cool kick-ass return. And you talk about a great ovation for these guys. I mean, they were at the Barclays Center again, by the way, third night, final night. Man, that New York crowd freaking popped. And I got to give that New York crowd a lot of props because they brought the energy for NXT. I'll give them a little bit of credit. They were just a little bit off with some of the things that was going on at SummerSlam. But I also want to give a shout out to how they handled Raw tonight, because Raw was pretty much as equal to the NXT event, if not maybe a little bit better. I mean, they definitely came out strong in like big numbers tonight for tonight's Raw, but big freaking ovation for the Dudley Boyz. And I just couldn't help. Yeah, I was just kicking back, laying in the bed, and I had like literally jumped up and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I never thought we would see this day happen again. Now, if you know all your wrestling promotions and all that, you're not just WWE. You know, you make it be your business to check out what's going on in other promotions, other brands, and all that. You know that Bully Ray, Devon, they have spent a significant amount of time down in the TNA wrestling organization, to the point that Devon sporadically, he would just show up here and there after he was in TNA for X amount of years. The last time he did a little something with TNA was when the Dudley Boyz, they actually got inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame together. Yeah, they did get inducted in TNA. Also, a little bit shortly after that, Devon stuck around. He had a couple of singles matches and all that. Probably the greatest moment I think that really came from Devon just as a singles competitor in TNA was when he had this really cool kick-ass rivalry that was going on with the Pope, or D'Angelo De Niro, or however you want to call him. I think of him as the Pope, who's currently the commentator in TNA. And it had to do with Devon's sons. And basically, Devon's sons, they took like this strange liking to the Pope. They like looked at him as like the father they wish they could have. And it was a very interesting program that those two guys had that never really, in my eyes at least, I'm not sure about you TNA fans, but in my eyes, it never really had that final closure. I think the way it was kicking off, it was really good, but then it just felt kind of rushed towards the end. I'm not going to bore you guys with all the tag team matches that they've had while they were in TNA. They had a lot of great moments in TNA. So I would highly encourage you, if you're not familiar with them doing stuff in TNA, now's the perfect time to catch up and see what they've been up to, because they've been busy. They've been active all this time just down there. Matter of fact, just recently, Bully Ray had wrapped up a story arc with TNA Wrestling that saw him return to the organization for like the first time in months, to become the new, I guess, TNA general manager, if you will. You know, he was calling the shots, naming the matches, all that. We saw him get this weird SmackDown 2 Know Your Role backstage beatdown. And it was like, what the hell? And the way that story arc ended, it just basically said Bully Ray is out indefinitely. So I'm sure Dixie Carter is probably looking at that moment right now. And if I were to be a betting man, I bet you, somebody let me know before this stream is over, but I bet you Dixie Carter put out some lame ass, half ass tweet tonight trying to capture lightning in the bottle from Devon and Bully Ray returning to WWE, returning home, if you will, technically. I bet you she put out some type of a half-assed tweet basically saying, "Oh, I'm so proud of seeing you guys in the WWE." Yeah, I wish she would stop doing that. I'm just going to say that in advance right now in case she puts it out there, because honestly, if I'm Dixie Carter, if I'm the head people in charge in TNA, I can't help but sit back and go, God freaking A, we lost Samoa Joe. Now look, we lost Devon, we lost Bully Ray. These guys went over there. Then you got the rumblings that AJ Styles might be doing something with those guys. So I mean, Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff is now doing little DVD documentary things for the WWE. Just a matter of time before they end up doing something with him on television again in some type of capacity, whether it's a cameo or whatever. They lost Sting. You know, I can't talk about TNA without, hey, they lost Sting as well to the WWE. And I mean, I would just imagine TNA is like, what the hell? What are we like doing wrong to not be able to keep these guys around and continue to stay loyal to us after we've bent over backwards for them? That's the first mistake, making it personal, bending over when you're supposed to be taking care of your company, because at the end, it's not supposed to be about personal. It's supposed to be about business. And if you're Dixie Carter right now, you know what I'm saying, guys? I mean, I'm not trying to bury Dixie Carter or anything, but I would think that people high up there, including Dixie Carter and TNA, they got to be hurt right now seeing all these people that have made a very reputable name for themselves. I mean, they already had a name, but they came to TNA, you know, and TNA, for the longest time, they were able to benefit from these guys, but it never really reached the true magnitude of what we're seeing from all these people that left. And like, you know, honestly, they it's like a good analogy, and I'm gonna move on. It's basically like, God, I hate to use this analogy, but you're like, guys, you're with a girl that's like, you know, yeah, she's okay, you know, she can cook a little bit, and she kind of listens to some of the things that I say. She kind of comes off like she cares about my thoughts on, you know, things, you know, like she wants to get to know me. I don't know. And then like you meet this other girl and it's like, oh my God, we're so compatible. Like she really understands me. Not only is she a person that can create great conversation, but she's a great listener. And, oh, I love this about her. I love this about. I mean, suddenly when you have the two comparisons, it's kind of like, why the hell was I with you all this time when I had this over here? It's just like that. That's just how it sums up perfectly. All those guys that I just named that were in TNA, now they've come back to the WWE, and it's almost like they never freaking left. I know we got guys out there that's going to be like, all these old heads that's coming back. To that I say, when you really, really look at the current roster, the young folks are getting pushed. There is nothing wrong with some of these veterans coming back. So as long as they're able to contribute in a huge way, I say that will benefit the younger talent. You need those veterans in there that can pass along those teachings of, hey, this is what we learn, and look, we're gonna bestow this upon you so that you can take this, you can run with it, improve yourself even more, pass it on to the next generation of wrestlers. That's what it's all about ultimately, guys, whether some of y'all like it or not. It's about passing it down, passing that buck down. So great moment to see right there with the Dudleys coming back. This was not a one-night deal. The way it was dubbed all night by the commentators, even Bully Ray, Devon on their respective social media feeds, they're back in the WWE. So great to have them in the tag team division. I'm sure they're going to be able to show some of these young boys a thing or two about tag team. Other action that we had come about from tonight, great tag team match between Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose taking on Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper. Things got very interesting with regards to this match because towards the end we saw this big dude. Guy looked like he was maybe about 6'10", 6'11", long dark brown hair, and just the way he was built, I couldn't help but say, is this Kane? Has Kane joined the Wyatt family? I'm thinking, interesting combination. Just the way he was built, I was under the impression it was Kane. No, it wasn't Kane. He had a black sheep mask on. And when it was all said and done, when he took the mask off, to me at least, if you know your Van Damme movies, he looked like Ray Jackson from Bloodsport. I put the tweet out there. Shout out to everybody that was favoring that and retweeting it. But he looks, when you do the pick-by-pick comparison, he looks just like Ray Stevens. It turns out this guy, according to some of the people that was tweeting at me, let me see here if I can pull it up real quick. He was at one point a Rosebud for Adam Rose. And then he did a little bit of something in NXT, I guess, on his own. I'm trying to see if I can pull up his. Unfortunately, I'm not able to pull up his name on Twitter. Somebody help me out and hook me up with his name. If you're on Twitter right now, send me the link that way because I got Twitter open right now. I don't have the comment system open just yet. Yeah, I'll keep that open while you guys check that out. All right, so yeah, but this big dude just comes in there and he just manhandles the hell out of Dean Ambrose, out of Roman Reigns, and we would get a proper introduction to this guy via Titantron later on in the night. But you're like, wow, now it's 3 against 2. I mean, the way this guy just manhandled Roman Reigns, it was freaking ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it since Roman Reigns has been doing this thing in the WWE. Ever since WWE has been kind of like, yeah, this is our guy. We got to build this guy up properly and all that. Manhandled him. Manhandled the hell out of him. I know for the longest time, a lot of people were like, well, maybe Sting's going to get involved. That ain't happening based on what went down tonight. Spoiler alert right there. Team PCB versus Team Bella. Yeah, that tag team match again. Look, got a lot of respect for women's wrestling. Got a lot of respect for Paige, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Naomi. Got a lot of respect for all those girls. But, it's really hard to get behind this match when we've been seeing it over and over and over again for the past several weeks. It's really hard to be like, yay, I'm going to get into this match. And the New York crowd, it was interesting reading some of the tweets that was coming about from some of the people that were watching this match play about, because the New York crowd tonight, they were letting themselves be very vocal during this match. They were chanting for Sasha Banks. Once again, Sasha Banks, it's like, what the hell? Nowhere to be seen. No cameo, no nothing. I'm sure the guys in the back, they probably heard that and they're like, well, it's nice to know that, you know, New York, they really, really like Sasha Banks. And, you know, that's the beautiful thing that I like about the New York crowd. The New York crowd, a very savvy bunch. Probably one of the last purest wrestling fans, wrestling cities, wrestling states that's out there. You know, they really, you know, they can detect the BS, the smoke in the mirrors, and all that. They are a savvy bunch, and I got a lot of respect for them. Sasha Banks, yeah, she's the best thing. Her and Charlotte, they're the best thing that's going on right now. But I kind of got to give the edge a little bit more to Sasha Banks. Don't know why she wasn't there tonight. Maybe she was backstage. Be interested to know what's going on with that in the next coming days. But once again, Team PCB, Team Bella, fans started doing the wave that were there in attendance. They started chanting, "We are awesome." They were chanting any and everything. It was obvious they really could not give a crap about this match. Now, in defense of the girls tonight, great effort. I appreciate the effort. But the problem that I have, and I think it's the problem that a lot of people have, as some people felt throughout social media, it was disrespectful what the New York crowd was doing to the girls during that match. On the contrary, you know, kind of get your head out of the clouds and come back down to reality. You know, if you've been given a peanut butter sandwich every single week, same time, same bread, it's got the same flavor. Eventually, you kind of want it to be switched up a little bit. Maybe you might say, can I get that peanut butter sandwich with some strawberry jam in there and a bag of chips? Or how about I get a cheeseburger and some baconator fries? You know, eventually you start to want to switch it up. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that, but we keep getting the same combination. One thing I thought was very interesting with this, when they were getting ready to set up this match, I like the Miz segment. I thought that was pretty good because it gave each girl in PCB the opportunity to do a little something on the mic. And the one that surprised me the most, I was actually quite surprised by Becky Lynch. I've seen more of her wrestling stuff on the independents, not too much on her cutting promos. That's just the weird luck I've been having. So it was nice to really hear what she was capable of, as opposed to Paige, Charlotte. I already knew what those girls were capable of, but Becky Lynch surprised me very well, pretty well, I thought. But I like the segment that they had with the Miz and setting up the tag match and everything. That was good. But one thing that was interesting during that Miz segment was when the Bellas came out and something was said along the lines of Nikki basically saying, hey, look, I've got like 22 days to go, and then I'm going to tie AJ Lee. And just the way that it came off, when you just kind of look at it under the surface, it was really kind of like a punch to the stomach if you're a fan and you're hoping that these NXT girls will one day become champion. It just kind of really made you come off with the impression that no matter what, Nikki Bella's probably going to hold on to that belt at least until she ties AJ Lee and then maybe surpasses it by just a couple of days, then drops the belt. You'd be surprised how many people are like, just tonight alone, are upset at the notion that that would possibly happen. But again, your winners for that respective match, it was actually Team Bella defeating Team PCB. WWE, can you please change the name of PCB? It sounds like a drug. I was talking to my coworker Marcus. Shout out to Marcus. He checks out the show from time to time. And we were talking about the name and we were both just chuckling like little kids. We're like, what the hell is up with the name? And one of us said the name out loud and somebody thought we were talking about a drug. They were like, is that a new drug? What is it exactly? Is it as good as the other stuff? And we were like, no. We're talking about something wrestling related. They need to change the name. Seriously, they got to change the name. Shout out to Brendan on Twitter, the name of the guy that I was talking about earlier that looked like my man from Bloodsport. NXT wrestler. He was briefly by the name of Braun Strowman. That's his name. Check him out. Big intimidating guy, like right there. He's got like this combination of Gene Snitsky meets Mike Knox when Mike Knox still had the long hair and the beard, all that crazy stuff. He's got all those combinations in him. Moving right along, King Barrett and Stardust, they were supposed to team up for a tag team match, but Stardust beat the crap out of King Barrett. Hit him with his, what is he calling that now? The Queen's Quarter or whatever. I'm calling it Crossroads because that's what's always been implanted in my head for the longest time. So forgive me this week. Next week, going forward, I'll remember the name of the finisher. But he did the Crossroads to King Barrett. I guess this stemmed from what went down at SummerSlam with him, King Barrett, losing to Neville and Stephen Amell. Neville did come out, him and Stardust. I believe they were about to throw it down, but Stardust escaped the ring and all that. Another great moment that we saw on Raw tonight, Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart coming down to the ring to explain his actions of what went down at SummerSlam. Interesting tweet that I had got, as well as a YouTube comment. The YouTube comment I want to home in on in particular because one person had said, Lee, you seem a little bit confused as to why Jon Stewart had did what he did. Basically, he's trying to make sure that a tradition continues on, that a tradition is not broken. He did what he did because he doesn't want to see John Cena become a 16-time champion tied with Ric Flair. Now, I didn't buy that. I should have probably put it out there, but I really wasn't vocal enough. That's on me. But for me, I didn't buy that notion for the simple fact that true wrestling historians, true students of the game of wrestling know that Ric Flair has been a world heavyweight champion more than 16 times. Even in previous interviews that Ric Flair has given over the years, even he has acknowledged that he's been champion more times than that. I was hoping that Jon Stewart was going to come out and he was going to say something along the lines of he's just so sick and tired of how fake John Cena comes off. I was looking for something along that line. So I was actually a little bit, just a little bit, and to each its own. But for me, I was a little bit surprised that they went the route that the one person commenting on had suggested. I was like, okay, so this seems to be where they want to go. And I thought it was just so funny seeing Ric Flair come out as Jon Stewart. You know, he's like, hey, I did it to protect Ric Flair's record. Flair comes out, wooing and everything. And he basically says, hey, look, you know, I respect the fact that you were trying to protect my record and everything, but I got to be honest, you made a mistake. The mistake that you made, it has so many ramifications. And quite honestly, I was actually rooting for John Cena. I wasn't rooting for Seth Rollins. So, you know, the things that you put in motion, there's some serious consequences. John Cena would come out pissed off. Long story short, John Cena gave Jon Stewart the AA. And it was just hilarious seeing Jon Stewart take the AA. And then, like, immediately when he hit the canvas, when his back hit the canvas, he, like, pulls his shirt down, trying to cover up his flab. I'm like, come on, man, just sell it. You know, don't worry about, oh, is my belly hanging out? Sell the move. It's okay, you know? And I just thought that little bit was just funny. But other than that, you know, I got a lot of respect for Jon Stewart. I said it Sunday night. I gotta say it again. I have a lot of respect for him. He genuinely comes off like, yeah, when I think back on celebrities that, like, you know what, this person connected very well with a wrestling audience. They genuinely come off as if they are a huge wrestling fan. Definitely the Green Arrow guy comes off like that. Hugh Jackman comes to mind. Definitely Jon Stewart. I mean, it's a very short list when you really, really, really think about celebrities that, like, don't have anything to do with wrestling, but they're like a huge, huge fan. You know, when you have these type of celebrities that come in and they help out the WWE and all that, it really shows. Because I mean, that's the thing. Wrestling fans, I think, no matter how old. You could be 15, you could be 32, you could be 45. Y'all can tell when somebody is like, yeah, they really are a wrestling fan. And Jon Stewart embodies that so well. I hope that WWE can continue that tradition and continue to reach out to nothing but people that genuinely are there. It's not just a publicity move so that they can plug a movie, a concert, or whatever. And I look forward to actually seeing Jon Stewart do something with the WWE again down the road. Great celebrity, definitely. Other stuff that had happened tonight, we had saw a main event match which consisted of Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, and Randy Orton. They took on the team of Sheamus, Kevin Owens, Rusev, and The Big Show. We ended up seeing the team of Cesaro, Ziggler, Ryback, Orton defeating the team of Sheamus, Owens, Rusev, and Big Show. After the match, it was really hilarious because uh, Cesaro, Ziggler, Ryback, Orton, they basically ganged up on the Big Show after they witnessed the Big Show having a few words with Kevin Owens and Rusev. They were very pissed off, and Big Show, you could tell he wasn't trying to have anything to do with those guys. It got physical. It actually got physical. Big Show was doing some shoving, and we saw Rusev and we saw Owens actually bringing the pain. They brought the ruckus to the Big Show. They left him laying on the ground and they rolled out. And then we see Team Cesaro. They come in there and they ganged up like they ganged up. They ganged up on Big Show. Like Vincent D'Onofrio's somewhat mentally challenged guy in Full Metal Jacket. I mean, they did a serious number on the Big Show. New York crowd really laying it into the Big Show tonight, how much they do not like him. Ridiculous right there. Unique chance of their own. For Cena, they did Cena sucks. And then you had a Big Show sucks. And I just said to WWE, that's your new shirts. Make money off of it. Go ahead. That person might be sitting there saying, hey, I got me a Cena sucks shirt on, but Cena's going to be getting some of that money, and WWE as well, when they're going to be in the back rolling up a fatty, laughing their behinds off. So make it happen, WWE. You got a little bit of a gold mine right there waiting for you. Finally, the big night. Wow, we're already there. Yeah, we're already there. That is insane. I like blazed through this so fast. Main attraction of the night: Seth Rollins being presented with a bronze statue, somewhat similar to what was made for the Ultimate Warrior, Andre the Giant, etc., etc., etc. Also, happy birthday, well, belated birthday now to Vince McMahon, turned 70 years old. We had saw the unveiling be done, if you will, right after Triple H had did a really nice speech using John Cena's own catchphrases of the hustle, loyalty, respect in order to describe Seth Rollins. The trophy was presented to Seth Rollins. It was unveiled, but there wasn't a statue there. Instead, it was the icon Sting. And I mean, that was like your second biggest mark out moment of the entire night. You couldn't help but feel bad for Sting, because you see that his paint was already starting to like come off of his forehead. You're like, damn, he's probably been sweating under that bad boy for a minute. What the hell? And it was just hilarious just seeing the paint. You're like, what the hell? And Sting just started laying it into Seth Rollins, tossed him out the ring while Triple H, Stephanie, they rolled out. And the last burning image that we had was Sting grabbing onto the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, looking at it, holding it up in the air. Now, immediately there would be an exclusive interview with Triple H, courtesy of Renee Young, on the WWE Network. I did check that out. Breaking news coming up at Night of Champions on Sunday night, September 20th. Main event match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It will be Seth Rollins defending against the Icon Sting. So, great moment right there. I'm actually looking forward to that match for the simple fact we get to see the Icon Sting again. It's just interesting how all this just kind of comes full circle a little bit, if you will. And I really need for WWE to do a really good job in straightening up a few loose gaps, if you will, because let's not forget, you smart guys that's out there, I'm not saying you guys are dumb. You guys are never dumb. There's no such thing as, because you guys ask really great questions. All right. So you're not dumb, but I can't help but like think about, wait a minute, we just saw Triple H and Sting. They've done these Monday Night War things where they're talking with Renee Young and all that. And, you're looking at that and you're like, well, okay, now we got this thing that's going on right here. It kind of came off as if last we saw Sting and Triple H storyline wise that they buried the hatchet at WrestleMania, if you will. Not that it was about WWE versus WCW, but at this past year's WrestleMania, technically that's pretty much what it had came down to. So now that we see Sting going after Seth Rollins, what is the avenging Crow up to this go round? Is his whole thing, look, the way you have presented yourself as a WWE champion is just downright disrespectful. A lot of great men have held that belt, and the way you've just been carrying yourself is just so dishonorable. I'm gonna put honor and prestige back into that championship again. I mean, is that pretty much how Sting is operating this go round? And then the other thing, Triple H making, if you're just thinking from a storyline standpoint, you really want to stick it to Sting. You really want to say, Sting, you stuck your nose in my business once again. What the hell? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Why give him a match against Seth Rollins when you could have just suspended him indefinitely, had him arrested for trespassing or whatever? Why be like, okay, I'm going to reward you. I'm going to reward you by, I'm going to show you real good by, that's kind of like saying, so you don't want to eat your Brussels sprouts, huh? Well, I'm going to show you this piece of pie that you can have with a glass of milk. That's how I'm going to show you. You eat that, and that's like, technically, if you want to be for real, Triple H just rewarded Sting. Just storyline wise. I don't mean to overanalyze it, but if you really think about it, it's kind of like, yeah, that does make a little bit of sense. What the hell, but in either case, still a great mark out moment. Probably, as I said at the top of the show, without a doubt, this was, I got to go there. This was the best Raw of 2015. Of a very short list. I could probably, if I really were to sit down and think about it, I could probably come up with about maybe, at this point, a top 5 list of best Raws for this calendar year. But this episode alone, definitely high up there, very high up there. Now, if only WWE can continue that momentum for the next several weeks, that would be really awesome, because the groundwork that they did with this episode tonight, I really, really would love to see them build upon it. To your comments we go now. Hit me up on Twitter. Make sure you follow me as well on there at the RCWR Show. Facebook, Infinity One Productions. That's with an E. Spell out one, Infinity One Productions. Let's go to you all's comments and let's see what you all have to say. I'm not expecting that many comments because we did this so spontaneous, not enough of a build up. And as I'm pulling up you guys' comments, while I still have you all's attention, make sure you give me a thumbs up video down below. Google Plus, Facebook, and retweet it. One of the many ways you can spread the good word about us. But definitely do that thumbs up, because when you do that, man, you're basically showing your love and appreciation for us as YouTube video creators. All right, guys? All right. Penance, what's up? I'm already looking. I see like the usual suspects here. I like that. Thank you guys for representing. Penance, John. I'm glad Sting is back, but it sucks he wasn't at SummerSlam, which I attended. I would have loved to seen him one more time just in case he retires at Mania. I hope he gets a title run before then. I gotta sleep on it because, like, when I first saw everything go down with Sting, I'm like, yes, can we see him have a run as champion? But I actually want to sleep on that. I'll dive a little bit more into whether or not he should get a run as champion on our Tuesday night podcast, which you can check out this Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com. Join us for that. A lot of stuff that we got to talk about. Poor Jared from Subway, Gene Simmons, a lot of stuff that's been going on since last we were on the air. Definitely a lot of wrestling related news. We're going to be going all over the place on there, so do join me for that. Louise, I really must say this Raw was pretty enjoyable. It seems like the WWE is finally going to make the tag team division seriously again. Overall action was great, but I have to admit I totally marked out at seeing the Dudleys, Ric Flair, and Sting all in the same show. Great night it was, man. Austie, Lord, my childhood has been reborn. The Dudley Boyz and Sting are back. Sting wants the WWE Championship. Rory, I am honestly not trolling when I say I enjoyed this Raw better than I did SummerSlam. How do you feel, Lee? As I said a couple of times, yeah, this Raw was better than SummerSlam. And to think this Raw, when you just heard everything I just said and you really play it back, especially if you didn't watch Raw, not that much, when you just sum it all up. But I mean, just over the span of the 3 hours, it was very enjoyable. And, I hope the experiment with SummerSlam being 4 hours ends this year. And like, if anything, just entertain maybe a 3 hour event. 4 hours is just really, really pushing it, man. Really, really pushing it. Pushing the patience of the fans too. Say job, best Raw of the year. I don't know. I still say the best Raw of the year is when Brock F5 Michael Cole. But see, you're talking about one significant thing that happened during the course of a 3 hour show. You just look at everything that transpired tonight with some of those moments that I mentioned, and then minus the Divas match, you look at the other matches that we had tonight. This was overall, it had something for everybody. There was a reason to stick around. I think just overall, and just being able to stick around for the whole 3 hours, this particular Raw, like I said, very short list of like all around really good episodes of Raw for every single hour. A little bit of something for everybody. And let's see. I'm going to refresh one more time. And if that's it, that is perfect. I don't mind wrapping this up. Let's see here. Let me try refreshing one more time. Bear with me, guys. And remember, you can get my attention as well on Twitter at the RCWR Show. Yeah, it looks like that's it. If there's any more comments coming in, I don't know anything about it right now. I usually see like a bolo more after the stream is over. So I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to say we did a very good job tonight. Another show in the books. We got one more to do. So join us Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com. And one more time, give me a thumbs up, man. Like I said, when you give us a thumbs up, you're showing your love and appreciation. Most importantly, respect for us YouTube video creators. All right, guys? All right, so that's going to do it. Thank you so much. We'll do this again for you all, hopefully very, very soon. Like I said, Monday nights, there's nothing happening on YouTube Monday night. So if you want to check me out weekly, you check out the podcast on Tuesday nights. It's free. You can download it for your listening pleasure on whatever respected device that you're pushing. All the links you need is down in the episode description. Until next go around, wishing all of y'all a good night, a good morning. Adios. Take care.